Hey, welcome back to Work Life Harmony. So today we might be getting a little more, I don't know, say intense, but we're going to talk about something just at a little bit more of a deeper level. That was an experience I went through recently that was such a, oh my gosh, moment. And I've been sharing a little bit about this inside my communities out on social media, but I wanted to dedicate a podcast episode to talk about this because I think it's really, really important for us women to have this understanding. So if you've watched me do any of my weekly planning sessions, if you've been involved in that with me at all, you know that one of I think it's my third step in my weekly planning process every week is to make sure that I have personal time prioritized, reserved, etc., on my calendar every single week, multiple times during the week, not just like one hour slot. And this is something I have prioritized for a long time, and it's made a tremendous difference because I am making sure that I have those times to, and I'm going to say this word very intentionally, rest. And I get that regularly. And so that has really helped me not feel so exhausted all the time. But what I didn't realize was there was another element that I was missing big time. Now, I know a big buzzword everyone's talking about right now is this whole, self-care, self-care, self-care. I 100% believe in it, obviously, but I'm coming to dislike the term because where I see people using it when they talk about self-care is doing activities that were things that maybe as women we used to do on the regular before we, got married, had kids, started a business, whatever. Like, I don't know when in my life the simple act of walking upstairs on a Tuesday night in the evening to take a bubble bath suddenly transformed from a normal Tuesday night activity to now some prioritized planned self-care bucket. But that's a conversation for another time. The reason I even bring it up is I'm going to be using the word rest here during this episode. And when I'm talking about rest, I'm going to be relating this to a lot of what you all would probably label as what you do for self-care. So the things that we do to have some downtime, to refuel, to relax, to truly rest. Now, a couple weeks back, at the time we're listening to this, it will be a little bit further in the past. I was getting ready to head out to one of my treasured girls' weekends that I do twice a year. And as I was getting ready to go, I was getting itchy, like I was edgy. I couldn't get out fast enough. Like I was, texting with my sister, I'm going to leave skid marks when I go. And even my husband kind of noticed I was getting a little edgy. And he's like, I'm confused why you're so anxious to go on this trip. You get a lot of rest, a lot of downtime. And I do, as does he, as we all should. And I was thinking about it. And I'm like, God, yeah, it's not like I've been overly taxed out or something. Like, why am I so anxious and feeling so, desperate to go get this girl's weekend away? Well, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, in her infinite wisdom, knew exactly what I needed to hear. And as I was driving north to my girls' weekend, the very next day, I was listening to a podcast, and it was one of the episodes from Glennon Doyle's We Can Do Hard Things podcast. And it was an episode about having fun. And her sister, Amanda, said this, I'm going to totally paraphrase it, but she said this thing, I almost drove off the road. And they were talking about the opposite of work is rest. The opposite of fun is depression, sadness, anxiety. And I want you to sit and think about that for a moment. Where this registered for me was I am really good at prioritizing and making sure I get plenty of rest. But I still go through stages, and I'm sure many of you do as well, where you're kind of looking at your life going, okay, everything's going well. Work's going well, family's good, I'm getting rest, I've had, quote, self-care, but I'm still feeling unhappy. I'm sad, I'm unfulfilled, I'm depressed, maybe I'm anxious, whatever that looks like for you. And I realized the reason I was so like leaving skid marks to head out there for girls weekend was I was in that place. I had worked well, I had rested well, but I had not had fun, true fun in a long time. And my body knew girls weekends for me, that's fun. And that was such, I've been sitting with that revelation for quite some time now. And I think we, with the world in the place that it is right now, particularly coming out of when we were in full lockdown, having fun was really hard. It was hard to find the time. It was hard to find activities to do. And so I think we all did this mass pivot to really focusing on, quote, self-care or rest, making sure we got some downtime, some quiet. But fun is an integral part of all of our lives that we need to have. And women, we are the worst ones at prioritizing that. So I was sharing this within a community. And of course, a number of women were like, well, what counts as fun? I'm like, well, first of all, if you have to ask, that's a clear sign you haven't had it in a while. So I will tell you this, when I'm talking about having fun, I want you to think about what makes you laugh. What makes you happy? What makes you feel like connect with that inner child that we all have again? For me, definitely time with the girls, time with my sisters. That is fun. I laugh. There's no judgment zone. We just are who we are. I enjoy shopping. Shopping is fun, like clothes shopping. That is fun for me. Bowling is something I absolutely adore. Playing a really cool game with my family, game nights. Those are full of laughter. So those are just some examples of ways that I have fun that is not that kind of personal self-care time. And if we're not careful, we're going to get in a place where we're just not having fun regularly in our lives. So if you are in that space where you're kind of going, I'm doing good at managing my time. I'm not getting overcommitted. I'm not overscheduled. I've got that rest time planned in, but you're still feeling flat or meh, or even depressed. I want you to go back and look at the last couple weeks of your life, the last month or two of your life, and say, when was the last time you just let loose and had fun? And then I want you to brainstorm on what are activities that make you feel joyful, not restful, joyful, happy, laughter, all of that. Look for some of the simplest things. For me, good music and dancing does that. So whenever it's, my night to cook dinner, the music is on, I am dancing in the kitchen. That brings fun into my day. And I had stopped doing that just out of who knows why, just stop doing it. But I want you to understand that you've got to prioritize both. So I am now shifting with my weekly planning. When I go into that place of making sure I have my rest time, the opposite of work being rest, that I also have fun prioritized into my calendar, into my days and weeks on the regular, so that when my next girls' weekend appears, I will not be so desperate for it to come because I haven't had fun in a long time. So this weekend, I am super excited about the fact that my family is going to be doing a super cool laser tag thing. We've got a really fun game night planned. So I know I am prioritizing things that make me laugh, that bring me joy, that can fill that fun bucket so that the depression, the anxiety doesn't come creeping back in again. So I hope that you find this helpful. I would love for you to share, what do you do for fun? Let me know. Feel free to go tag me on Instagram at Megan Sumrall with proof doing something that you consider fun. And I will be looking for your awesome, fun posts. Have a fantastic week.